How to read a nutrition label from a diabetes coach perspective. Let's break down the Nature Valley protein bar. I would do is flip it around to look at this nutrition label. We have 190 calories. Most of it would probably come from the fat because 1 gram of fat is equivalent to 9 calories. There's 12 grams of it. Saturated fat, 3.5 grams. Trans fat is 0, which is good to hear. Polyunsaturated fat, 1 gram. Monounsaturated fat, 7 grams. So that's pretty good ratio of getting some healthy fats in for the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. Cholesterol, less than 5 milligrams. Sodium, 160 grams. Total carbs, 15 grams. Dietary fiber, 6 grams, which is nice. So to look at the total net carbs, I would do 15 grams, subtract that from 6, which would give me 9 net carbs, which is pretty good in my opinion. It does have 7 grams of sugar and then 10 grams of protein, which is nice. The other thing I would look at, it's a pretty good bar because 10 grams of protein to the net 9 grams of carbs, that makes it a pretty good ratio in my opinion. And then you also get a decent amount of healthy fats from this bar. You get 12 grams. It's higher in calories, just to be aware of that, compared to some of the other snacks that I would pick for myself, but still a pretty decent bar from my perspective. Let's take a look at the ingredients. So roasted peanuts, that is more of a lower glycemic index. Soy protein isolate, a little bit of a lower one. True root extract, that's generally more for the fiber content, so that'll slow down the digestion process of carbs. So that's pretty good. Semi-sweet chocolate chips, so sugar, chocolate liquor, cocoa butter, soy lectin, natural flavoring. This would rise blood sugars a bit more quickly. We got vegetable oils that are all in here, so that'll cause the blood sugars to not rise that fast for temporary terms. However, later in the day or hours later, it could actually raise blood sugars up because oils, they can turn into sugars through a process called gluconeogenesis, but it takes a little bit of time. Similar thing too with the protein. However, oils tend to spike it a little bit higher compared to the protein hours later. So if someone is wanting to have this bar, but then they realize, oh, why is my blood sugar rising up hours later? Sometimes that's due to the vegetable oils or other oils or fats that is eventually converted into sugars later on. Sugars is lower in there, corn syrup, so these will tend to rise the blood sugars a bit higher. Whey protein concentrate, that generally blunts it a little bit for some people. Fructose, similar thing, raises it up because it's a form of a sugar. And then peanut butter, which actually has a more neutral effect, so it'll blunt the blood sugar spike. Cocoa, and then vegetable glycerin, rice starch, soy lectin, and more. Generally these ones, cocoa, and so that would raise the blood sugars. So on average, more of the ingredients in here is ingredients that would blunt a blood sugar spike, which is pretty good. But then again, it also depends on the person and other circumstances that they have. So I would actually eat this snack with some water as well so that it can blunt how high the blood sugar would get, and also go on a walk afterwards. But this is a pretty decent one from my perspective. And again, sugars are not the enemy. For people with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes, the enemy is insulin resistance, and that means the sugars in the blood have a harder time moving into the muscles, the brain, the other organs appropriately, and that's why it stays stuck in the blood vessels, because it moves from the gut to the blood, and it should move to the muscles, the brain, the rest of the organs. The issue with diabetes is not the sugar, it is the ability for the blood sugars to get to the muscles, the brain, the rest of the body, so that it could be used off as fuel. And water helps with improving that. Fiber, protein, that also helps with improving that process too, significantly. And then of course, going on a walk afterwards for 10 to 15 minutes after having this would also help as well. So if you found this video helpful, oh no, please give us a like, comment down below of your thoughts on breaking down how to read a nutrition label, and let me know what other foods or snacks that you want me to take a look at the nutrition label and giving my thoughts from a diabetes coach perspective. Thank y'all so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click that notification bell, and we'll see y'all in the next video.